mother called me and said, you know what the fuck your son trying to do? The fuck is he talking about? He going to give all the girls fucking hearts in school and all this shit. You knew about this? I was like, I heard about it. I don't really know exactly what he said. Yeah, this nigga bugging the fuck out, talking about he giving everybody hearts. I said, is it really wrong? Is it really wrong, little Romeo, son? He's like, he ain't doing it, Kim.
Learning lesson, because I'm curious on what you guys' advice would be, and I like posing the questions in this way. So, Jayden Daniels' mom, Regina Jackson, spoke on protecting her son from women who prey on millionaire athletes and responded to the backlash she receives on social media. She said he's been very acclimated in sports since he was young, but he doesn't know the business world. He doesn't know the predators or the vultures that could be out there, so he feels very comfortable in knowing that not only am I educated and qualified to do it, I'm also his mom. So, I don't want this to be about her parenting, because that's her son. She can, parent however she chooses to parent. But I'm curious from you guys, what's some advice you wish you learned sooner when dealing with women entering the space of fame and money?
Man. That's interesting, because what she's basically saying is he's not ready. She told the whole world he's not ready.
That's a fact.
And he might be a lick. Pause.
That's a fact.
That's what she told everybody.
Yeah,
in hindsight, because if you're walking around with him, they just like, we gotta get him away from his mother. Once we get him away from his mother, we good.
Yeah.
You go over there and ask her this. I'm gonna go over there and give him the number. They're gonna just have to tag team.
Yeah.
But what I think, what I could have learned, I think we learned everything we needed to know.
But what do you wish you learned sooner?
I kind of knew everything.
Oh.
What about you, Gil? I think by the time we was 10, we saw so much. It was by the time you get 14, I was 28. Yeah. By the time I got 21, I was 50 years old.
Well, listen, what I'll say is this before I tell you about what I learned and shouldn't have learned about Jayden and his mother. What I took, and I don't put this in street terms, I don't mean to be disrespectful about what I'm about to say, but I took it as she said, this nigga's slow. This nigga's they gonna get this nigga. So I got to stay by this nigga's side.
Yeah.
This nigga right here, I remember.
She doing her part though.
Yeah, I dig it. Listen, let me tell you something. This is a true story. My son was about 11. And then 11 or 12, maybe 13, he was still in middle school, maybe 7th grade. So he comes back from the store, and this nigga got a shopping cart full of Valentine's Day candy, about 15 heart candies, the heart joints. I said, what are you doing? You got a little shorty in school and all that? He said, not one, I was gonna give them to all the girls and, pass them out to all of them. I was like, all right. I ain't against that. All of them, I see where you're going with it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah. So, me and his mother wasn't together at the time. He comes see me on the weekends. He went home that weekend, that Sunday, to go to school Monday. His mother called me and said, you know what the fuck your son trying to do? The fuck is he talking about? He going to give all the girls fucking hearts in school and all this shit. You knew about this? I was like, I heard about it. I don't really know exactly what he said. Yeah, this nigga bugging the fuck out, talking about he giving everybody hearts. I said, is it really wrong? Is it really wrong, little Romeo, son? He's like, he ain't doing it, Kim. And if you supported this, I'm telling you now, he's not doing it. I'm not letting him take one candy to school for none of the girls. And I was like, all right, it didn't work that way, but I'm just giving you a protective mother's point of view, even though this is a nigga with just heart candy. This ain't a nigga with 28 millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about 11-year-old as opposed to a 24-year-old also. But that's what I get from it. I get that same vibe. Like, if it was up to this nigga, he'd be broke right now.
Yeah.
That's what this mother's giving me.
Yeah, that's what she basically saying. Sometimes sometimes you train a child, but then after you train them, they still don't got it. And you gotta stay around.
Yeah, listen, man.
Said, I gotta watch. I'm protecting my investment.
100%. That's one of those situations.
And I support it.
She might knock on the door and said, I just slipped a condom under the door. Make sure you strapped in there. Like, listen, and back to something I could have learned. No, Mase, I just say made it great. By the time you're 10, you're 14. When you're 14, you're 28. When you're 28, you're 62. Growing up at home, let me tell people, and not just the streets, and not just women, and not just anything. Sometimes the best teacher is experience. It isn't about going to class. It isn't about what somebody could tell you. Niggas could talk to you till their face is blue and your ears fall off, and then you still don't listen. The best thing is experience. I knock on wood all the time and very, very thankful. You got to think about this, right? And knocking on wood and thanking God as well, 100%. Mase, multi-selling rapper, not just that, very successful businessman. Me, multi-selling, when I say multi-million sales in music, both of us, actor, philanthropist, businessman. I got one kid, he got two. How many kids? We could have been out here, it could have been crazy. By the same woman. Shit could have been wild out here now. I thank God all the time. Shit could have went left a few times now. Don't pop up tomorrow, ladies, neither.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, but shit could have went.
Because we knew what to look out for.
That's the reason.
We knew about all of that.
You know many times, and not going with again. You know any time girls say, yo, Kim, I think I'm pregnant. I said, I don't know about who. I had a vasectomy. They were like, oh, nah, I wasn't pregnant. Never had a vasectomy. You ain't gonna fool me. I fooled you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. All them games that girls play.
Letting a girl give you a condom.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we should use protection.
Right. Meet me at the hotel. They booked the room already. Nah, I'm changing room. Nah, I'm not going in that room that you booked. Won't get me on tape. Have some niggas run up in here while I'm here. No, absolutely not. So thank God, 100%. To me, what Mase was trying to say, and I don't care speak for him, but from what I got from what he's saying and what I'm saying, the best experience is teachers because, listen, man, we ain't never had a problem with no bitches. Before the music, the bitches never been a problem. You know what I'm saying? That was the last thing was a problem. They became problems when we started getting some money. Like, yo, get away from a nigga, man. I nutted, I gotta get back to this money, man. You know, I remember Mase used to, and I'm talking about high school. Mase used to fight girls off of me. I see Mase walking routes that he shouldn't be walking school that way. He walking this way. You know, I'm just saying, where you going? I'm seeing third period. Listen, I'm just saying it never really been a problem. So thank God, and that's like I said, a lot of shit could have went left, but thank God that before any success or money that we had a couple joints, you know what I'm saying?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're unpacking a story that has social media in complete meltdown mode. And trust me, you won't believe how deep this conversation goes. Mase and Cam'ron, two of the most outspoken personalities who never hesitate to say what everyone else is afraid to say, have turned the spotlight directly on Jayden Daniels. But they didn't stop with Jayden alone. They questioned the entire situation. His mother, the relationship, the public perception, every single piece of the puzzle came under fire. And if you know Cam'ron, then you already know he wasn't holding anything back, while Mase backed up nearly every point without hesitation. That's exactly why we're breaking everything down today, because once you see how all these pieces fit together, you'll understand why so many people believe Jayden Daniels' mother intentionally stayed involved in every part of his career. The biggest question now is whether that says more about Regina Jackson's parenting style or about Jayden Daniels himself. Before we get into everything Mase and Cam'ron actually said, we need to lay out the full backstory, because some of you may be hearing about this controversy for the first time, and without that context, it's impossible to understand why their discussion exploded on the It Is What It Is podcast. So let's rewind and start where this entire story really began. Jayden Daniels entered the NFL as the second overall selection in the 2024 draft. The Washington Commanders wasted no time bringing him in, and almost immediately he proved he belonged. We're talking about an Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign. We're talking about leading Washington all the way to the NFC Championship game as a first-year quarterback. Every time he stepped onto the field, he looked explosive, smart decisions, dangerous mobility, and the kind of dual-threat ability every franchise dreams about. Everything pointed toward an incredible future, and it seemed like Jayden Daniels was on track to become one of the NFL's next superstar quarterbacks. Standing beside him through every milestone was his mother, Regina Jackson. Now, let's be fair for a second. Every mother wants to see her child succeed, and every parent takes pride in being there during those important moments. There's absolutely nothing unusual about a mom supporting her son and celebrating his accomplishments. But here's where things started getting interesting. Regina Jackson's involvement appeared to extend far beyond what most people would consider normal parental support. She became a constant presence in nearly every part of Jayden Daniels' career, and before long, fans, league insiders, and social media all started asking questions. Eventually, those same questions landed right in front of Mase and Cameron. And believe me, once they started talking about the agent situation, everything changed, because that's the moment that really made people pay attention. The issue that really sparked debate started in July 2024, just before Jayden Daniels began his rookie NFL season. Regina Jackson studied for the necessary exams, passed them, and officially became a certified NFL player agent. Take a second and think about that, because this is where the story starts taking an unexpected turn. His own mother became the person representing his professional career. Some people immediately defended the decision, arguing that no one would protect Jayden better than his own family, and that she was simply shielding him from people looking to take advantage of a young star. Honestly, there's some truth to that viewpoint. We've watched countless talented athletes trust
the wrong people, only to end up losing money while others got rich from their success. From that perspective, it's easy to understand why a parent would want to stay closely involved. But here's where the conversation becomes much more complicated. When you're a grown man, the starting quarterback in the NFL, playing one of the toughest positions in American sports, and your mother is simultaneously your agent, your business representative, and a constant presence around your career, people naturally begin looking at the situation differently. That's exactly the point Cameron focused on, and if you know him, you already know he wasn't about to soften his opinion on the podcast. Cameron basically voiced what many people had been quietly discussing behind the scenes but didn't want to say publicly. His argument was simple. If your mother is handling nearly every major part of your life as an adult, it raises questions about your independence as a man. That's really the heart of this entire debate. It isn't necessarily about Regina Jackson being wrong for supporting her son. It's about whether Jayden, already in his mid-20s, a Heisman Trophy winner, an NFL rookie, and someone who faces elite defenders every Sunday, should already be making more of those decisions on his own. Mase quickly agreed and shared a very similar perspective. Both of them came from backgrounds where becoming a man meant taking responsibility, making difficult choices yourself, and not relying on your mother to manage everything from business deals to your personal relationships. That leads us to the moment that completely took over social media and became the biggest talking point in this entire Jayden Daniels story. And trust me, if you've been following this online, then you already know exactly where this is headed: the Juju Watkins situation. For anyone who missed the backstory, Juju Watkins is one of the biggest stars in women's college basketball at University of Southern California, and her popularity extends far beyond the court. She and Jayden Daniels were seen together on multiple occasions, and almost instantly the internet exploded with rumors that the two might be more than just friends. People couldn't stop speculating, convinced they were watching the beginning of sports' next high-profile power couple. Many fans were already calling it a potential sports power couple, the kind of relationship that could dominate headlines and completely take over the internet. You had two elite young athletes, both rising stars with massive popularity, and people thought they looked like the perfect match. Then came one specific moment that changed the entire conversation. A video started spreading everywhere showing Jayden Daniels and Juju Watkins sitting together, clearly engaged in what looked like a meaningful conversation. It wasn't just casual small talk either. If you watched the clip closely, you could tell why so many people believed there was genuine chemistry between them. Then, out of nowhere, Regina Jackson stepped in, walked directly between them, and sat down. Just like that, the entire mood shifted. Social media absolutely exploded. People flooded the internet with reactions, tagged friends, and memes started appearing almost immediately. The overwhelming joke online was that Jayden's own mother had interrupted what could have been a romantic moment. Cameron couldn't stop laughing when he discussed the clip, because in his opinion, it perfectly illustrated the concerns he'd been talking about all along. His point was that you had a grown NFL quarterback seemingly sharing a personal moment with a woman many believed he liked, only for his mother to physically place herself right in the middle of the interaction. Moments like that don't usually happen by accident. According to Cameron, that suggested a long-established dynamic rather than a one-time misunderstanding. Mase followed up with his own perspective, explaining that based on the environment they were raised in throughout Harlem, learning independence at an
Early age was considered essential, making a situation like this almost impossible to imagine. From their viewpoint, if a man can't even have a private conversation with a woman without his mother stepping in, it doesn't project the image of independence or confidence they believe people expect. That's ultimately the conclusion both of them reached. But here's what really made their discussion resonate with so many people. You won't believe this. It wasn't only about making jokes at Jayden Daniels' expense. They were using the situation to make a much broader point about culture and expectations surrounding adulthood. In many communities, being able to stand on your own, make your own choices, and handle your responsibilities without constant guidance is viewed as a major sign of maturity. It's something people often associate with earning respect. So when the public sees a talented athlete, regardless of his success or income, appearing heavily dependent on his mother in multiple areas of life, it naturally creates questions about that image. And in professional football, where confidence, leadership, and mental toughness are constantly evaluated, public perception can stick with you whether it's fair or not. Now let's shift to the football side of the story, because that's another important piece people sometimes overlook. Jayden Daniels' second NFL season simply didn't unfold the way his incredible rookie year did. Injuries started piling up, beginning with a knee sprain, followed by a hamstring problem, and later a dislocated elbow. Those setbacks limited him to roughly 10 games before the Washington Commanders ultimately decided to shut him down for the remainder of the season. The Washington Commanders eventually decided to shut Jayden Daniels down for the remainder of the season. Of course, injuries are part of football, and nobody can honestly blame a player for getting hurt. But when those setbacks on the field were happening at the same time as all the headlines surrounding his mother's involvement, the public started building a narrative that Jayden probably never wanted attached to his name. The quarterback who had everyone predicting superstardom after his rookie season suddenly appeared vulnerable from every angle, both on the field and away from it. Regina Jackson also remained very active throughout that period. She regularly addressed situations on social media whenever she believed people were spreading inaccurate information about her son or his career. One example involved quarterback coach Ryan Porter, who had been credited by several outlets as someone who helped develop Jayden's mechanics, with even ESPN mentioning his role. Regina publicly responded online, making it clear that Ryan Porter had not been Jayden's quarterback coach since his high school days. In other words, she was actively shaping the public narrative, correcting stories, and handling responsibilities that are usually left to an athlete's public relations staff or professional representation. The difference, of course, was that she was doing all of that while serving as both his mother and his certified agent. Cameron paid close attention to that pattern. He argued that when someone is constantly stepping in to respond, defend, clarify, and correct every situation, they eventually stop looking like a supporter and begin looking like a shield. And in Cameron's view, a shield exists to protect someone who can't protect themselves. That wasn't intended as praise, it was the central point he was making throughout the discussion. Mase didn't push back against that opinion at all and appeared to agree with every major point. There was another angle that made the story even bigger. Even Tom Brady reportedly weighed in after the Jayden Daniels and Juju Watkins moment became a major talking point. When someone with Tom Brady's resume and influence is discussing your family dynamic, you know the conversation has reached a completely different level. At that point, this wasn't just another trending topic floating around social media
anymore. The discussion had spread throughout the entire sports world, with fans, analysts, and former players all sharing opinions. That's also why Mase and Cameron's perspective grabbed so much attention. They approached the situation through the lens of the culture they came from, where independence, accountability, and proving yourself were considered essential parts of becoming a man. Cameron built his reputation by being outspoken, standing on his own principles, and refusing to let anyone dictate his path. Mase, despite taking a very different journey through music and ministry, has always carried those same Harlem values with him. So when two men with that background looked at Jayden Daniels' situation and questioned what they were seeing, a lot of people felt their opinions carried extra weight. At the same time, plenty of others pushed back, arguing that Jayden himself hasn't publicly shown any signs that he feels controlled or unhappy with the way his mother supports and represents him. That disagreement is exactly what keeps this entire debate alive, and trust me, the conversation only gets more interesting from here. From everything we've seen publicly, Jayden Daniels doesn't appear to have a problem with any of it. He has openly referred to his mother as the GOAT, posted a birthday tribute to her on his Instagram story, and made it clear how much she means to him. After the Washington Commanders defeated the Detroit Lions in the playoffs, he even handed her the game ball as a gesture of appreciation. It's obvious that he views her involvement as a source of strength rather than something holding him back. From a family perspective, that's a relationship a lot of people can respect. Not every professional athlete is willing to show that level of gratitude and love toward a parent in public. But Cameron's argument, and this is the part that really got people talking, was that Jayden's personal feelings don't necessarily change how everyone else interprets the situation. In professional sports, perception can become almost as powerful as reality. the way teammates view you, the way coaches evaluate you, the way the media talks about you, and even the way opponents perceive you can all influence your reputation as a leader. So when the loudest conversation surrounding your personal life becomes the idea that your mother is making every major decision, that storyline naturally starts shaping how people see you. There's a reason the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history have often projected quiet confidence and complete control. Tom Brady became known for his relentless preparation and icy competitiveness. Peyton Manning built his reputation through incredible football intelligence and total command of his offense. Patrick Mahomes is admired for staying calm under pressure and delivering when the game is on the line. All of those players gave off the impression that they were firmly in control of their own path. That's why when the internet is making endless jokes about your mother stepping between you and someone you're rumored to be interested in, rebuilding that public image becomes much more difficult. Now, to keep this conversation balanced, it's important to acknowledge another side of the story. Regina Jackson is clearly an intelligent and capable woman. She didn't become a certified NFL player agent by accident. That required serious preparation, commitment, and passing the necessary qualifications. More importantly, everything we've seen suggests she genuinely loves her son and has spent years working behind the scenes to protect his career and put him in the best possible position to succeed. In an industry where athletes are often surrounded by people looking to benefit from their success, having someone who truly puts your interests first is incredibly valuable. By all appearances, Jayden appreciates that support and trusts her completely. This doesn't look like a case of a parent exploiting a successful child. The bond between them seems authentic and built on mutual respect. The point Mase and Cameron
Making is much more nuanced than simply criticizing Regina Jackson. Their argument is that even the best intentions can create unintended consequences if the end result is that people begin questioning whether you're fully running your own life. And after a second season interrupted by injuries, with Jayden looking to regain the momentum that made his rookie campaign so special, you won't believe how important that perception could become. Right now, the biggest headline should be about his arm talent, his mobility, his leadership, and whether he can return to playing at an elite level, not whether his mother is still the central figure in every conversation surrounding his career. What Jayden Daniels really needs right now is for the spotlight to return to his preparation, his development, and his performance, not the people around him. Cameron made one of his strongest points when he asked a simple question. How many of today's elite NFL quarterbacks have their mother serving as both certified agents and constant public figures in their careers? The answer is pretty obvious. It's not that this kind of arrangement is impossible to make work. It's that almost nobody else in the league approaches it this way. And whenever you're doing something that stands out from everyone else, you have to expect people to question it, especially personalities like Mase and Cameron, who have built their reputations on saying exactly what's on their minds without filtering it. The bigger issue this entire discussion raises isn't really about Regina Jackson alone. It's about the type of quarterback and the type of leader Jayden Daniels ultimately wants people to see. His rookie season already proved he has rare, franchise-level talent. Physically, he has every tool necessary to become one of the NFL's best quarterbacks for years to come. But football at the highest level is just as much a mental challenge as it is a physical one. And how you respond to adversity, lead a locker room, and carry yourself under pressure often matters just as much as your athletic ability or your statistics. Right now, though, the off-field narrative surrounding Jayden is the part grabbing the headlines, and that's exactly where Mase and Cameron believe they see a concern. Whether you agree with their opinion or completely reject it, you won't believe this. The fact that two influential voices with their level of cultural credibility are discussing it publicly means this conversation probably isn't ending anytime soon. If Jayden wants to change that narrative, and there's no question he has the talent to do it, the biggest statement he can make will come through outstanding performances on the field, while perhaps allowing the public focus around his family dynamic to settle down naturally. As things stand today, the jokes continue circulating, social media keeps creating new reactions, and the It Is What It Is crew remains at the center of the discussion. Love him or disagree with him, Cameron has built a track record of making observations that later spark bigger conversations, so many people aren't quick to ignore what he's saying here. And when Mase is standing beside him instead of challenging those opinions, it naturally gives the discussion even more attention. These are two men who have experienced fame, controversy, and public scrutiny firsthand, so they believe they can recognize situations that may become much bigger before everyone else does. Looking at everything surrounding Jayden Daniels and his mother, they simply called it the way they personally see it. Their conclusion was straightforward. Regina believes her son still benefits from having her closely involved, and in their eyes, that's the central issue driving this entire debate. Ultimately, though, Jayden Daniels can only answer those questions in one place. The football field has always been the final judge in the NFL. He needs to stay healthy, return to the level that made everyone believe in him after his rookie season, help the Washington Commanders win games, and shift the conversation back towards his play between the lines instead of the headlines surrounding his mother. Until that happens, Mase and Cameron will almost certainly keep revisiting the topic, and judging by the way social media has reacted so far, the internet probably isn't done talking about it either.